what they do here. And that was them creating, and it's not just it's the work that they put into it, and it's just them showing each other. And for me, that's what it is. And it's me looking into their life, not me trying to say, here, be like my life. I mean, there's some values I'd like them to pick up from my life, but for the most part, it's about me seeking understanding of them. And if I want to connect with somebody, I got to understand them. It's not connect with somebody by making them understand me. It's connecting with somebody by trying to understand them and trying to figure out what makes them tick and trying to figure out their life. And so for me, I think as I'm 47, I'm not young, but I get it. And the reason me and Cole have the connection we do, and me and Brian and me and the kids here that are young have the connection we do, is because I appreciate their music, not because I'm showing them mine. They actually know my music. They understand it too. So they've already looked into it. So I don't know. I just wanted to show you guys that, that's just a day in the life, and you get to look into what they're doing with their time, and they're not doing drugs, and they're trying to create and be clean. And I just want to honor that. So that's just a side note. So thank you all for that. And thank you for watching again. And if you're offended, then, I would probably say just don't tune in next week. It's okay. I mean, that's what we have to say. I mean, that's what we have to say in this day in America. If you don't like something on TV, turn it off. If you don't like what people are saying, don't listen. But it's freedom. That's just how it is. If you don't like what somebody's saying on a radio channel, if you don't like what Howard Stern says, don't listen to Howard Stern. That's just how it is. We have to have that diversity. This is what they like. If you want to connect with them, you're going to have to like what they like. So that's what I do. So I hope you appreciate that. And I don't mean to piss anyone off, but I just got to say the truth. So I have to stick up for them. I have to stick up for their culture and what they like, and not just say you're wrong. I have to say, no, you're right. That's cool. So, and by the way, that video tonight with Justin Bieber, I love it. I absolutely love it. Just spin off both Happy Gilmore and it's great. So, well, welcome tonight. I want to first say that, everyone, every week, this is kind of like, I see this week is particularly, for some reason, particularly hard. It's a tough, we're even kind of chugging along here in this house. It's not always up. It's not always down, but then sometimes it's kind of just the energy is just, you can feel that it's sometimes thick and sometimes light and sometimes heavy. And we're kind of chugging along here with some heavy energy, and it's tough, and I can feel it, and I can feel everyone on here struggle. And so also we're not closed down to the fact that this is a group of people that you're coming on for solutions. So if you're really struggling tonight and you need to talk, it doesn't have to be on topic. You can just kind of ask for some help or whatever you need. That's out there for you tonight too. So if anyone's struggling, they just want to stop the show and say, hey, I'm really struggling with something, go ahead. We'll deal with it and try to help you with your energy and try to give you a little burst or whatever we do. But other than that, we're going to move on. Last week I challenged some things, and I think that's the most important part of my job, is to, in an industry where we've went along for 20 years with a 5% success rate and really struggled in the treatment business. I think that it's the job of all of us to challenge what people say, to challenge almost everything that is said. And one of the biggest things that's mentioned in the treatment world, in the recovery world, it's mentioned to families, and it's mentioned to people that are in sticky situations and people that are in difficult relationships. And it's this thing that people always say about having boundaries. And I think, therapists seem to teach their clients that they need boundaries and this and that. And I want to just say something about that. I want to make sure that you're talking about boundaries. I want to make sure that you're talking about we're talking about the same thing. I also want to make sure that you're not talking about changing somebody else's behavior. So I want to make sure that you're not saying that you want to change somebody else's behavior with your boundaries, because 100% emphatically, somebody with a drug addiction problem does not change because of your boundaries. Somebody with an addiction problem will not change because of boundaries. They will not change because prison hasn't stopped people. Nothing stops people. Nobody will not do drugs in your house because it's one of your precious boundaries. Nobody will not lie to you because it's one of your, that's a drug addict, because it's one of your precious boundaries. So let's get it straight. If you want to deal with addiction and you want to deal with somebody in active addiction, please, please be prepared to have no boundaries. Now, Redmond is a city that just kind of lives away. You can kind of tell the way Redmond is. You can kind of tell that they have boundaries. You've never heard publicly the guy come out in Redmond and say, we don't let drug addicts be homeless in Redmond. You've never heard him say that. You never heard him say, we have boundaries here in Redmond. We don't let homeless drug addicts. Redmond just kind of lives. We don't have homeless drug addicts. They don't mention it. They don't say anything. Same with Mercer Island. Same with like Bainbridge Island. Kind of just live it. Now, Seattle, they don't have boundaries. Seattle doesn't really even engage in it. Seattle just says, you know, we just let it happen. Now, what's going to happen in Seattle is they're going to start wanting to now get boundaries after not living boundaries. So after not living boundaries, they're going to come up with some great ideas. Somebody's going to tell Seattle that they need boundaries. Too late. Too late. You're not coming back from the thing that you've just done. So most of the time, like, how would, you know what helps addiction and helps an addict? Treatment. That's it. Your boundaries don't. So you want to live a boundary. What it says is, I had a girlfriend. I had several girlfriends. I was in high school and I was a cheat. I was a liar and I was a cheat when it pertained to women. I wasn't faithful. I was a kid and I wanted every woman. I didn't want just one. So when I got with one, I tried to get with the other ones. And there was like several girls along the way. And they all mentioned to me their boundaries. They verbally told me that if I cheated on them, they wouldn't take me back. You know what it did? It kind of gave me a goal. It gave me a goal. It said, no, yeah, you will. We'll see. I'm going to cheat on you and we'll see if you'll take me back. And that's the thing I did. As I went forward, you know what they all did? Every girl that told me they wouldn't take me back if I cheated on them, they all took me back. 100% of them told me they would take me back. They did. Now, I met a girl in college. She was the most powerful, beautiful girl back in the day that I thought went to that college. She was powerful. She was beautiful. She never even mentioned the fact about cheating. She never suggested to me that if I cheated on her, she wouldn't take me back. She didn't say anything. She just lived that way. She just lived this way. And what I did was I cheated on her. And what she did was didn't take me back. She never took me back. She didn't ever take me back. One time I even drove over to her school. I got drunk and I drove over to her school and I said, come on, you're going to take me back. You know what she did? She said, you're drunk. She threw a blanket on the couch and said, I want you gone when you wake up. That's it. See, that's boundaries. Not mentioned, not said, power, lived. I want you to look at any of your teachers in high school that said they had boundaries. You crossed them. Now, any teacher that you respected, any teacher that you didn't cross boundaries, any teacher that you treated with respect, never mentioned even the rules. You just knew it. So this idea that people are going to, boundaries will not, if a woman is getting hit by a man, her boundaries won't stop him from hitting her. That man needs help. If boundaries would stop it, he wouldn't be hitting women. He wouldn't hit women. Men that hit women don't hit. They don't discriminate between women that have boundaries and women that don't have boundaries. So be prepared. If you say you have boundaries and you want to have boundaries with an addict, be prepared to not have them in your life at all, in any capacity. Be prepared that when you say your boundary is that they can't use in your house, that they pack their shit immediately and don't be in your house. That when you say, if you lie to me as a drug addict, I have boundaries. We won't ever be in each other's life again. So be prepared. It's like pulling out a gun and saying you'll shoot somebody. Be prepared to use it. So boundaries, I want to make sure that people aren't thinking that they change behavior, because they don't. If I here came to you guys and said, here, you're all drug addicts. What you do is just live by my boundaries. Now, are you done? Now, are you healthy because you're going to live? No. Here's what changes behavior: power, enrollment, inspiration. That's what changes behavior, not rules, not boundaries. So predominantly when I say I don't believe in boundaries, what I mean is anyone that's ever told me their boundaries has kind of gave me the war zone. It's kind of like stating where the war zone is. It's kind of like saying, here's where you go out of bounds. And as drug addicts, we go right to that line, don't we? We go right to the line where they say their boundary is. So my point with this is, and by the way, it always seems like a real victim position. And anyone that wants to explain their boundaries to another human being, I just want you to sit on the other side of that. I want you to sit down for a second and see if you'd like to listen to a conversation where somebody told you their boundaries. I want you to sit there. See, because on the other side of that conversation is like a real inferior type deal. When we're explaining our boundaries to somebody else, when we're explaining it, we're kind of saying, I'm great. I'm perfect. You cross boundaries. You're bad. And I want you, if you cross my boundaries, you're going to be out of my life. So you just watch it. And it's kind of like we're really, I'd like, one of your kids to explain their boundaries to you. Imagine like a 20-year-old kid. I don't care. Drinking, not drinking. I don't care. Drugs, not drug addict. Just a normal 20-year-old kid that goes to college. Just sitting with his parents, explaining his boundaries to his parents. Here's my boundaries. I want you to pay for my college and not talk to me about politics. That's crossing my boundaries. I want you to pay for my college. I want you to not talk to me about my life in any way. It is a real thing today. If I were to run my program and try to tell you guys that I had boundaries, no, I engage with addiction. There are no boundaries. My ability to change people is based upon my ability to inspire. Now, if I were sitting here in a victim position explaining my boundaries to you guys, we would be playing a game of cops and robbers all day. We would be playing a game of war. And that's what happens is that people either, let's say they get hit by somebody. Let's say they have a kid that's crossed all boundaries. They then begin to put up the boundaries after they've already all been crossed. Too late. We cannot now put up boundaries and expect that's going to change the behavior and back people off. It's too late. You need to see this. So I think we have to be clear. When you're saying boundaries, are you willing to walk away? Are you a person that as soon as your boundaries crossed, don't even need to say it to the other person? You just walk away. Why would you be explaining it to the other person, your boundaries? Why would you need to? Your teacher in high school that said, I'm going to call the principal, he has to call the principal a lot. But the teacher that you respected and you looked up to never even mentioned the principal. He had power, inspiration, enrollment. So, boundaries is a move that people make that I see, and if I'm wrong, you can challenge me on it. But I see it's a move that people make as a hope to change the other person's behavior. It's almost, to me, when you're dealing with addiction, it's almost as if I were to say to my mother when she had cancer, I got boundaries, Mom. I don't want you losing your hair. Don't be doing the chemo and dropping hair all over my house. Well, because dropping hair from chemo is a symptom of having the chemo. And lying is a symptom of addiction. And using drugs is a symptom in somebody's house is a symptom of drug addiction. Lying, cheating, stealing, using drugs, these are all symptoms of drug addictions. So when you put up boundaries against drug addiction, what you're saying is don't do your symptoms. Please don't have those symptoms. Please be a drug addict that doesn't lie. Please be a drug addict that don't use in my house. Please be a drug addict that's nice to me. Please be a drug addict that doesn't cheat. Please be a drug addict that doesn't use drugs. What you need to be saying is you need to go to treatment or don't talk to me. That's it. So when I will say, go ahead, have all the boundaries you want. But why are you still with the person? Why are you still engaged? See, Redmond has boundaries. Now, it doesn't change behavior. It just moves it away from you. That's what boundaries does. If a woman has a man and she beats her, or a man has a woman and he beats her, and he says, if you beat me, we're not going to be together, that doesn't stop the abuser. He just moves away from you. So Scottsdale, Arizona has boundaries against addiction. There's no addicts. It's not like Seattle. It just moves all the addicts up the road to Nevada. Not a big deal. It doesn't change any behavior. It doesn't stop addiction. There's no addict in Scottsdale going, man, I'd love to use drugs, but this city's got some boundaries. Not happening. Not even a, so I want to make sure when you're talking about your boundaries, you're ready to walk away. You're not telling me that you're still going to engage and then try to have boundaries to somebody in active addiction. You're not telling me you're going to have boundaries against a person who abuses women and then somehow get to stay with them. They need to be in treatment. They need help. People need help for these kind of problems. They don't need your boundaries. Now, if you're willing to walk away, then why even say it? If you're using drugs in my house, I'm going to kick you out. There's no reason to say that. Have I ever told you guys if you use drugs here, I'm going to kick you out? You ever heard that? You just might. You don't know, do you? You just don't know. So it gets me excited because, somebody goes to their therapist and somebody else in their family is struggling with a problem. And then the therapist says, well, you need boundaries. And I think that goes to the person's head. And I think the person says that those boundaries will change the other person. They won't. They will do nothing to change the other person. So what the therapist should just saying is you need to move. You need to get out of that relationship. You got to go away. You're not going to be able to fix it with your boundaries. People don't care. You know how many people have told me not to use drugs in their house? Same amount of people that I use drugs in their house. I don't give a shit about your boundaries. I'm a drug addict. Don't matter. And if anyone on here has a case where they told their kid something not to do and then their kid didn't do it, just let me know. Show me one example where you told your kid a boundary of yours and then they listened without getting help. Didn't happen. If that happened, boy, it would be easy. We just tell everybody our boundaries and everybody start behaving good. Be great. Go to work and tell everybody at the workplace all your boundaries and then they all just start honoring them. It'd be a beautiful world. Hey guys, around me forever from here on out, I never want you to talk about politics or cryptocurrency. It's my boundary. Is that going to work? Yeah. In my boundary here tonight, guys, I want you all to be nice to each other. That's my boundary. I want you to speak at a 5, not an 8. Travis, keep it at a 5. That's my boundary. My eardrums are sensitive. So I don't know if maybe I'm confused, but I got no boundaries here because I deal with changing people's lives. And I got to the point where I figured out every time I mentioned a boundary. I remember being at Pioneer Center North. It's a lockdown facility in Cedro Woolley with a huge fence with barbed wire on it. You know what the addicts did? They jumped the fence. What the fuck? Nobody stayed because of the fence. Nobody. Anybody that wanted to leave, they jumped the fence. What do you need a fence for? That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So here you are, middle of the night, kid throwing. Now they got to ruin the sheet because they got to throw the sheet up over the barbed wire and then climb up over the sheet. If you didn't have a fence, you'd do better with sheets. You wouldn't have to ruin them. This is tough stuff. We deal with addiction. We deal with people with problems that your boundaries don't care about. Problems that don't care about your boundaries, rather. They really don't. So are you willing to walk away? Anyone here that had boundaries against addiction wouldn't be on tonight. You'd just be done. You wouldn't even be tuning in. But obviously you're tuning in still. So your boundary got crossed and you're still here tuning in. Well, what? I thought you had boundaries. You see? Anyways, you can let's go. I want to argue tonight. I don't care. Or I'll help you. One of the two.
Yeah. That sounds good. So let's open it up. We'd love to meet the first timers, and we welcome questions and anybody needing clarifications, thoughts, questions. If anybody's really going through it too, as Art said, that's welcome as well. We have Representative Intinman in the house. We'd love to say hi. Sherry Pennington connected with, can we get you unmuted? Can we say hi?
Hi.
Hey there. Did I pronounce it right?
Intinman.
Intinman. Hi
Yes.
there. Welcome.
Thanks
Thanks for tuning in tonight.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Are you wondering what you stepped into?
No, I
With some
have
comedy.
I have experienced family members in recovery and addiction. It is not new to me.
Great. Great.
Very well. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So everybody, we welcome everybody. So the way you let me know that you'd like to say something is you can just raise your hands. There's a raise your hand feature. Let me raise mine so I can kind of show you. My hand is raised and then everybody can get in line. If you can't figure out the raise your hand feature, you can just literally wave your arms and wait for me to see you. You can unmute yourself. Just have some patience because there's a few screens to go through. I don't necessarily see everybody at once, but I don't want to miss you. So let's open it up. Who's first? Ken Johnson. Let's get you unmuted. Oh, can't hear you yet. Almost. There we go. Hey there.
Hey, I've got a question, but I'm trying to look good. So hold on just a second. Now I can look good. No, my question is, what's the difference between a rule and boundaries? Aren't they kind of the same thing?
Yeah, when it pertains to addiction, they're both ridiculous. I mean, I'll tell you what, when a drug addict gets sober, they're far more likely to follow the rules. And when a drug addict is in addiction, they're not going to follow any rules. So you can write all the rules you want. They're not going to follow them. I mean, it just doesn't matter. I don't know. I mean, that's challenged by, just look at what's going on. We can say, don't steal. And then does that stop stealing? We really set up a premise. Everyone in this room that's done fentanyl knows the rule is that it probably will kill you. And that's the rule. And they do it. That's a huge boundary to cross. So, it's also, and whether we, but then again, I'm also not saying to not have them. I'm also not suggesting that people don't have boundaries. I'm suggesting that they're lived, not spoken. I'm suggesting that Seattle needed to have boundaries years ago, and at this point, too late. You cannot come back from what you created down there. You don't have the money. You don't have it. No way. You can put together all the programs. Done. Those addicts have won. That's all there is to it. They live there now. To make them not live there, you need billions and billions of dollars. To treat them, you need billions. Now, Redmond lived a boundary. Now, I don't know, good or bad. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, look at the difference. Neither one of them spoke about it. It's how you live. And it won't change people, your rules. Our teachers, and that's just a good example. Just look into high school. Which teacher inspired you? Which teacher inspired you to listen? Which teacher inspired you to sit there? Not the one that said, sit there and be quiet or I'm going to call the principal. Not that one. That one, you didn't want to sit there for sure. But the one that just said, come in, let's read about this. Let's learn this. Let's be inspired and let's be enrolled. That one got you to sit there. Rules don't get us to sit there. It doesn't work. I can sit here, and every rule is broken. By the way, thank you for the book recommendation. It's phenomenal.
No good.
It is a great, great book. I'm almost done with it. It's a teaching tool for these guys. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Well, do share. Oh, sorry.
Which book is that? What
I
book?
muted them. Sorry. I was thinking I was switching. Sorry. What book, Art?
The book is called Leadership and Self-Deception.
Great.
So, and that's what we're studying here. And that's kind of, I would also throw that in there. I will also say that very few people of power, very few leaders are talking about their rules. And that's my other problem with this word boundaries is it creates a victim position and it doesn't create a position of leadership. It creates a smaller, isolated area in which you have to kind of protect yourself and then hope that they're not crossed. Otherwise you feel some certain kind of way. And what are you protecting yourself from? And that's what I mean by, and my other part of that is that, as a leader too, explaining your boundaries is not a very good leadership position. It's a victim position, and we are working against that here. So I want, and if you don't see that, then let me, and somebody doesn't see that, I'll explain it later. But, you know, as soon as we state this victim position that we have boundaries and everybody else just doesn't, it almost says that we almost live better than everyone else too. So is that all, that just all you wanted to know, Ken? Or is that whether I'm distinguishing between rules and boundaries?
Yeah, I think that was good. I was just thinking that we all have rules.
Yeah, but they're lived. They're lived. That's the thing. Are you living it or saying it?
Can you live it and say it?
Well, I think if you're living it, you don't need to say it. I think people just know. You know what I mean? I think every man on this planet knows a woman that they can cheat on and have and stay with, and one that will leave them. And I think vice versa. I think we know with people where their boundary is. We don't need to say it. We knew with our father where his boundary was compared to where our mother's boundary was. We knew which one was where one was at. We knew every teacher's boundaries. We didn't sit down and have a conversation about it, but we knew it. We know with bosses, boundaries, they're never talked about, they're lived. Once they're talked about, it's a ploy. It's a power move. It's trying to grab power in a certain way and try to curb the other person's behavior. It's a hopeful prayer. It's a Hail Mary. You know, and by the way, if there's a family on here that didn't try that Hail Mary, that didn't sit down with their drug addict kid and say, I know what we need, a contract, and have a drug addict sign a contract. Let me know if you didn't do that, right? Put it up on the fridge. Put it up on the fridge. I will not use drugs. I will not steal the car.
There's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of laughter, nodding heads going on. I think that it's fair to say everybody's done it.
Yeah, I don't even think if a guy's using drugs, it's got to be called something in a court of law where the contract's null and void. I mean, mentally dealing with some, you know, my sponsor, and this is maybe a crude opinion, but my sponsor used to say this to me all the time. Back in the day when I had a sponsor, he used to say to me, self-induced mental retardation. He said, that's what I do to myself. I use drugs and it's self-induced mental retardation. And he used to say, he goes, when are you done with that self-induced mental retardation? Well, that's what it is. And then we're having them sign contracts? I don't think so. Anyways, thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Good to see you, Wendy. All right, who's next? Thoughts, questions, new people. Where's our new people out there? Anybody going through it?
I want to really challenge everything, and I challenge what people say, and I challenge and I say, you know, if you're gonna have a gun, be prepared to use it, and that's what it is with a boundary. You know, that's why I very rarely ever state my rules, because I'm never prepared to use them. I'm not. Being conditioned after 10 years, being trained in this stuff to do what I do with addicts, I don't state the rules because I know I'll go back on my own word. I know I won't keep it. I know I won't be able to hold the boundary. I can't sit here and tell these guys I'm going to kick them out if they use drugs. I don't know if I am. I don't know if I can. But I'll tell you what. I know Oxford is an organization that kicks people out if they use drugs. And guess what? They're kicking people out today. It ain't doing shit. So everyone here in this room's been kicked out of an Oxford house for using drugs. Every single person here. And Oxford stated their rules. Why didn't it work? Why didn't that boundary work? Why aren't these boundaries working? Because they're ridiculous. They're a prayer. They're a Hail Mary.
Okay, we've got Patty. I'm trying to get you unmuted. It's Patty. I believe, Patty, I talked to you. It says Patricia, but I think we talked last night. I'm just trying to unmute you. It should pop up a request. There you go. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, Patty. We talked last night, right?
Right.
You're emailing today. Okay, great. Welcome. I'm glad you were able to make it tonight.
Thank you.
Patty's going through it with her grandson. You want to tell Art a little bit?
Just as this program came on, we found out that he just stole his mother's car and is running to get drugs, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty rough night for us.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get oh, go ahead.
Where are you from, Patty?
Washington, Enumclaw, Washington.
Are you out in Enumclaw now?
Yeah.
And the kid's out running around in the car. What city is he in?
I'm not sure. He's headed north, Woodinville, perhaps.
Wow.
Kenmore. He stole my car today, but we found him and got to him before he did anything. He was trying to pawn his guitars to get more money, and
How old is he?
25.
Sounds like he's a drug addict.
You're right.
Yeah. Let's get him some help.
Well, they were trying to get him to help in Colorado tomorrow,
Yeah.
and tonight he's lost. So.
All right. We'll stick with Ange. Did she get with you yet? Have you got a consultation schedule yet, Ange?
We
No,
haven't-
we're
yeah, sorry, Angie.
what did you say, Patty?
I said we haven't been able to schedule something because it's in such crisis that we haven't been able to do anything.
Yeah.
Well, here you go, Patty. We got some direction for you. Cheer up. You're in good hands. We're going to take care of you.
We're really worried that he might overdose tonight. And
Yeah.
he's in a really bad place.
Okay. Well, have you called the police yet?
I don't know. He stole his mother's car from her house, so I'm not sure what they're doing. The parents are divorced. His father tracked him today, and that's how we found him. But and his father is in the north part of our state. Well, he's up in Mukilteo area, and so we're hoping that he can track him and get to him.
We got some phenomenal ways to help you, Patty. Really. We're going to help you in every direction. Just engage with Ange. She'll take care of you.
Okay, thank
She's
you.
the best. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
important, Patty, it's important that we can coordinate a time with mom and dad. We can coordinate something in the next 24 hours. So it's important that we coordinate a time that will work, and we can do it on Zoom and do this quickly and kind of get started. Okay.
She was going to Colorado. She just bought a ticket to accompany him to Colorado because he's been so crazy today. And now we don't know where he is. So anyway,
Cheer up. We'll get
I'm
him.
sorry for you, Dad. You guys were having so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll be able to help. So let's figure out an hour. Let's figure out a 1 hour time tomorrow that will work for them. And then we'll get on Zoom and we'll start. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. Stick
We've been
around.
here
Don't go
before.
anywhere.
We've been here before. We know the exact steps how to walk you out of the position that you're in right now. All you have to do is listen. We will walk you out of the exact position you're in right now, as long as you let us do it. Okay?
Yep.
All
In
right.
fact, Patty, when I heard your message last night, your voicemail, I was with my mom, and she was a grandma just like you a few years back, and she really related to your call. So I can tell you, this is what we do, and we can definitely help. We just need to coordinate a time that we can talk with you and get the whole picture. So we'll follow
Thank
up,
you.
okay? All right. We gotcha. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
We'll make a joke, but I didn't figure it was a joke in time there.
All right. Who's next? Who else is going through it out there? Anybody need extra support tonight?
I want to know where all the challenges is. I thought this was going to be a fight tonight.
Yeah, so you guys, come on, moms.
I mean, there's no fighters. Wait
I
till
know,
tomorrow.
I know.
And then all want to tell me I'm wrong.
Last week after mom's group on Wednesday, that was the word that came up quite a few times. And a few of the ladies kind of said, I didn't understand what Art was saying about boundaries and whatnot. So I let him know, and he said, all right, bring it. That'll be the topic next week. So let's bring it. Let's bring it. If Art could get a little view into mom's group. Let's give it to them. Come on now. Come on now. I will tell you, Art, these ladies can talk.
Yeah.
They talk. They're playing shy tonight, but they talk. It's great. Mom's group's great.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Sherry Pennington, let's go. You can always count on Sherry. Hey there. I requested, did it come through? There you go.
So there we go. So my question is, you were talking about using inspiration to help change behavior.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, do you just kind of like listen and observe and talk, or is it, because it's like, I've learned a lot about the whole cryptocurrency thing through conversations recently. Oh, good Lord.
Hey, Sherry, I just said it today. Listen, I said this today, and I'm gonna just take a side note about cryptocurrency. I put some money in there because of these kids and what they're doing. So I had to put some money in there. Now, it's not a lot, but it's some. And I am 100% wanting to lose it. I would rather it go empty, the bottom fall out, and what I want to see tomorrow is long lines at the job opportunity help wanted signs. I want to see all the kids that are telling me about cryptocurrency with a job application outside of the building applying for work, because I'm so sick of this idea. I just can't take another expert on cryptocurrency.
That's the thing. I learned apparently about this whole meme thing and this Shiba Inu dog when we went to coffee earlier this week. And so for me, I think everybody has their thing, but it's like, for me, it's the car ride and going to like a coffee house or something like that and getting coffee and sitting. That's where we have those inspirational talks. So do you have different approaches with all the different people there?
Well, listen, I'm not here to suggest that maybe parents are honestly in the position to inspire. I don't know if that would generally at this point be something that kids do, get inspired by their parents. I don't know about that. I know that inspiration is and enrollment is what changes people. I know that. So there's two facts: that people seem to change and do better when they're enrolled and committed to something and they're inspired by it. And I also know that rules and punishment don't seem to do much to change behavior. I also believe in rules and punishment changing behavior. Okay. So what I mean by that is, I don't believe in the absence of it. I believe it needs to be there, but that's not what does it. It needs to be there for the simple fact that we can't have people using drugs in our home because they're going to die. We can't have people living on the streets and defecating on the streets because it's just unsanitary, because it doesn't do anyone any good. So rules and punishment are there, and I believe they need to be there, just not in spite of addiction, or not because we don't take those away because somebody's an addict. I believe they need to be there. I believe they're good. I believe that the absence of them does nothing to improve the situation. And all of a sudden, with the absence of rules, you have behavior going on that benefits nobody. So who does homelessness in Seattle benefit? Who does legalizing drugs benefit? Who does all these things benefit? So I always find it odd that we're letting behavior go on that benefits nobody, helps nobody, and hurts everybody. And then that's okay. And I think that we need to at least talk about how rules are there, and they need to be there, but that's not what changes behavior. And I wanted to clarify that tonight, that people see, when I hear people talking about boundaries, it seems to be an assumption that if they say that to the person is going to honor those. And that's just not true. If we tell people you can't use drugs and drive, we have to be willing to then put people in jail for using drugs and driving. We can't go, oh no, another chance. So what are we doing? And by the way, equally might be ineffective. I don't know, but I just know for sure that what really changes somebody is their commitments and their inspiration and their thing. And I'm not challenging parents and saying become inspirational. I'm saying for parents, I would say stick to your boundaries, but don't just keep saying them. They're not something you say to try to change their behavior. There's something you have to do to change their behavior. You didn't have to kick your kid out because of your boundaries. You had to kick him out because it was the best thing for him. That's what benefited him. So the boundary was for him, not you. And I hear people that are dealing with addiction and dealing with people that are having troubled behavior and talking about their boundaries. That's really arrogant, in my opinion. I mean, I think that we're talking about somebody that's sick, whether they're an adulterer, whether they're an obese person, whether they're suffering from gambling addiction, whether they're suffering, and the boundaries aren't for you, they're for them. So the boundary of not letting people live in Seattle on the streets, that might not be for us as people. It's for them. It's because you don't let people defecate and live on the street. That's just what you don't do. You don't do it. It's not so we have something. It's just you don't do it. Would you let your grandmother live in a tent in Seattle and take a crap on the street? No, not. And you don't have boundaries because it bothers you. You have boundaries because it bothers her. That's the point. You see? And it starts being this thing where people say, well, my boundaries, you're crossing my boundaries. I'm sorry. They got a major heroin problem. What do you mean your boundaries? That's ridiculous. They're on meth. Do you know what it's like to live on meth? You don't know about boundaries. You think people are watching you from a drone. You think they're going to listen to a boundary? It's ridiculous. No, they need treatment. So I think that that people are replacing boundaries as a way to like improve somebody else. No, boundaries are for you. It's how you live. Shut up about it. You know, my boundary is I don't like hang out with people on meth. I don't go running around telling everyone I don't hang out with you if you do meth. If you do meth, I just don't hang out with you. You're weird. That's it. I mean, you know, I don't hang out with people who smoke crack anymore. One of my boundaries. I don't run around and post it on Facebook. I don't hang out with no one that does crack. I just live it. If somebody steals from me, we're not in a relationship. It's not that I'm going to talk to them about boundaries. You stole my car. It's over, bro. That's it. I mean, what are we talking about? You know? So, you know, I'm not saying here that parents need to learn to be inspirational, but you do need to get your kid to some place of inspiration. Sober and some place of inspiration. You've done that. You've got Brian inspired to be a different person by the people that he comes over here and hangs out with every day. Is that true or not? That's true, right, Sherry? So you did it. You don't have to be the person that, you know, you have to be his mother now or the leader or somebody that tells him about values and things like that. But you didn't need to be the person that inspired change. You just needed to be the person that said, well, we're not going to do that in my life.
That's right.
And you didn't say it. You just lived it. You just drove him here. You know what I mean? Yeah,
right.
But you're not going to go to you're not going to go to your thing, to your, you know, I hope you don't go to your clinician tomorrow and talk about how your son, who you brought onto the world and done everything, is now impeding on your life. You know, I don't think that would be very fruitful. It might be, okay, well, you know, you can go talk and go, you know, my son talked to me in a negative way and I don't like it when he uses the F word. It's one of my boundaries and I'm going to tell him that. And what is that going to do? So now you sit down your son and go, around me, I don't want you using the F word. That's one of my boundaries. And he's going to go, F you.
Yeah, that hasn't worked. That hasn't worked.
Yeah. So, yeah, I hope that helps. I mean, really, you know, and I'm not here saying everyone's got to be inspirational. People are role players. People do their job. People take you there. But like I said, you know, sometimes the best case, if you're a woman and you're in a relationship with an addict, I found the only ones to be successful is the ones that walked away. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that had a success rate with their partner or ex-partner getting sober. The ones that walked away. I'm sorry, that's true. It just is in my experience. So, but the ones that stay and then try to have boundaries with somebody who's drinking or getting drunk, that just becomes a war. And the boundary defines the war zone. Really, it defines it. So as soon as the person says, here's my boundary, the war zone is defined. And the other person says, this is where we're going to be at war. You're going to tell me I can't do this and I'm going to do it. And then we're going to go to war. So really the boundary defines the war zone, and if it doesn't, show me otherwise. Show me where they backed off from it, you know? But you know, when a woman leaves a man, he's inspired. Really inspirational. You know, I got to be a better man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think my question was more to the unique personalities that you probably experience there in the house, right? I'm sure because you have a whole pile of different personalities. Is it just you sitting down talking with them and kind of like, or just the listening to what's going on there?
Generally, I'm not here even saying generally that I'm the inspiration. I'm saying they inspire each other. I'm saying that sometimes, yes, maybe I inspire something, true, but there is tons of inspiration here, and just the competitiveness of I'm with a group of people and we're staying sober and we're doing our lives, and there's some competition there. There's some like coolness, and it becomes a value that it's cool to be sober, that it's cool to not go mess up your life, that it's cool to do improvements and be honest and stick to your word. And that is inspiring. And they do it with each other without me. So it's not, and then, yeah, maybe somebody sees my life, and if it's an inspiration, fine. And if the way I talk to you is an inspiration, that's good too. And if you want to look up to me, I appreciate that. And I'll live my life to try to inspire and all that kind of stuff. But I see, moreover, you know, your son, maybe 18-year-old coming over here and being inspired by the kids that are here. And it's very cool. Mm-hmm. So it's not just one thing. Inspired by a movement, inspired by ideas, inspired by a commitment, inspired by Bitcoin, inspired by crypto, whatever it is, inspired by baseball cards, inspired by that video, inspired by creativity. Hey, can I get my piece of the pie? Can I donate something inside me to this group and then contribute? That's it. You see? So that's what changes people. What I see is anyone that changes their life has a new commitment to their life. Some kind of new commitment, some kind of new thing that replaces the old thing. Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Sherry. All right. Who's next? We got about 15 minutes left, so we got plenty of time for anybody else that has any questions, needs some clarifications, thoughts, coaching moments. All right, Angela, let's get you unmuted. Hey there. Oh, we can't hear you. Let's see. You got muted again. Let's see. Let's try this again. There we go.
Okay, I got it. A couple things if I remember them all, but the crypto, what was that again?
Cryptocurrency?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that exactly? What are we talking about? Maybe I missed this.
You don't want to know.
Oh, we're gonna just Google it.
Okay.
If you Google it and spend about 5 minutes on it, you'll be as qualified as the other experts.
Okay.
I promise. Yeah. YouTube, the 5 videos that are on the top, you'll be just as qualified as everybody else.
Okay. Then you were talking about Seattle and it's too late. What I'm on the East Coast, so I don't know what's going on in Seattle, but so they've allowed a lot of stuff to take place down there that's been not good for addicts. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they're dealing with the consequences of having zero lived, not spoken, but zero lived boundaries, letting addicts creep in like the water and going to the lowest places. And they've created a situation where there is no bottom anymore, and they've made homelessness enjoyable. And due to that, we have had a flood of not only just addicts in Seattle, but they're coming all across the country to be part of the Seattle homelessness camps. And, and that's Portland too, and here, and it doesn't work.
Right.
So no matter what they're doing, I don't care what they think they're doing, it ain't working, and it ain't going to work. And I don't know, as somebody who's dealt with addiction for a long time, my best assessment is let them have the city. Just move.
Yeah.
And try again later. Let them, just save a lot of money, let them have that city and build it down the street and start over. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
You're not going to create a program that solves that. I don't know. But I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'd be open to it, but you're talking about you're talking way out of the box, something that would come up that would solve that.
Right.
So,
yeah. I didn't realize it was that bad there. And lastly, when you talk about not setting boundaries, but taking action, is there a way of presenting that to an addict to let him realize this is it? I mean,
it's got to be the truth. There's no way of presenting it other than the truth. I say this all the time, and I'll say it again. Addicts don't quit when they hit bottom. Addicts quit when other people hit bottom. It's when our family hit bottom. It's when the judge hits bottom. It's when the cops hit bottom. It's when somebody's done with us. We will keep using drugs as long as people will let us use drugs. See, if you put a dome over Seattle, that'd be a house. Just call it Seattle a house. That's a house. Now, any of you parents on here can really easily come to the conclusion that if you let your addict live in your basement and use and bring him clean needles, he would never stop. You know that in your own house. So if we called Seattle a house, what is going to be the deterrent? Just make it a house. Now you got 11,000 people using drugs in a house. What is going to stop them? What? And now they can go steal. They can do whatever they want. Why would they stop? It's heaven.
Right.
There's no. Now, my dad tried to tell me his boundaries for 17 years. 17 years. He told me if I use again, he would kick me out. He told me not to use in his house. Don't steal my car. Don't trade your bike. Don't go to my shit. Take my shit to the pawn shop. I knew it wasn't true. He could talk all he want, but I knew it wasn't true. I knew it. I don't know how I knew it, but I knew it. I knew he wasn't done. I knew it. So then I got to be 37 years old. And when I was 37 years old, we reached a day where I saw his face, and it was the truth. He was done. He was not going to do one more day of my addiction. So he brought me in front of him, and he told me that, and a tear came down his face, and he told me it truthfully. He said, I'm done. And he told me, it's going to break my heart to let you go tomorrow, but you're out of my life, and I never will see you again. My father was dying. At the time, he had 7 months to live. And when he said it, I believed it. I knew it to be true. And my dad ended my addiction. He ended it that day. And that was because I reached the boundary he lived, not the boundary he set, not the boundary he was a victim to, not the boundary he was trying to change my behavior with. He was done. So it's the truth. People know when you're not done messing with them. People know. These kids are real keen on understanding what I call is the emotional bank account. They understand that here. See, there's a thing that we have with people in relationships.
Yeah.
Oops.
There is a thing that we have with people in relationships called the emotional bank account. And every time we have an interaction with human beings, we either make a deposit or we make a withdrawal. Now, addicts know that their balance is in that relationship with people. So they build up deposits, they take withdrawals, and they know where they're at. They know if they got one more withdrawal from you. They know it. And they know when the account is bankrupt and they don't got another chance. We know our bank account with the judge. We know there's kids here that are going to court for the 9th time. And they know they're not going to jail. They know it. They wake up and they go, I'm not going to jail. I've had 9 times. It's going to take 11. I won't go to jail until 11. And they are shocked at time number 9 if they went to jail for a day. They would be shocked. I can't believe on the 9th time he actually sent me to jail. Everyone else gets 10. We know it. And so it has to be true. It has to be lived. It has to be something that you are done with. Every kid knows here tonight, right now, if their parents are done or not. Every one of them knows. Everyone knows if they got one more run in them or if they don't. And the ones that are probably going to get high again, they know they're going to be allowed to do it. They know that they're going to get high. Dad's going to pick them up. Mom's going to pick them up, take them up to Walmart, get them a sweatsuit, get them some new underwear, buy them another phone, and bring them to treatment. And we see it over and over. How many times are you going to take a kid to Walmart and buy him a new phone and a pair of underwear for treatment? That's not a boundary. That's not
Right.
lived. So I don't know how to tell you to get to your truth. Are you done with it? Yes or no? My father was
Trying to be.
done and made me done. Yeah, trying to be. But it's like, not another day can I do this. I'm
Right.
done. That's a boundary. It's not said, it's lived. You know when you're at it.
So,
Thank you.
sorry, Ben, heads up. Harborview was on, but then they were off pretty quickly. That's why I put the Sempali's on Spotlight. So I would imagine they're trying to get back in. So if we can just hang tight, Sempali's, I imagine they'll try again here. Their camera wasn't working, so I assume that they hung up to try again. I'll put you back when I see him again. Thank you, Angela.
And to the representative Entman.
She's gone. She
Oh, really?
she logged off about a half hour ago.
Okay. Expected. It's absolutely expected by our politicians in Seattle to know it, to know everything on addiction, to know why we continue to fail. They know everything. They won't seek advice. They won't seek counsel. They will not do anything to change. They know how to solve it when it just continues to get worse. Okay.
All right. So we have about 5 minutes, and we can let it linger here, and hopefully they come back on from Harborview so we can
Stop me right in the middle here. Let's get one
tune in.
more.
Yeah. Let's go for another question. If we go over a little bit, that's fine. Let's just kind of see if we can hang tight until they log back in. We'll give it till like say 8:35 and see. Okay. Yeah. Pam and Dave, let's unmute you.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, I'll keep this brief. Hopefully they'll be able to come back to us. But I want to start with a special shout out to the folks who came out here on Mother's Day. That was incredible. It was the highlight of Pam's Mother's Day. And that's hard for me to say. But I want a special shout out to Travis, Hannah, Connor, Jimbo, Joss, and Janet. We're all here with us. And hey, we love you. Thank you very much.
That's good stuff.
So
hi,
there he is. I'll just two things quickly. Talking recently, the most significant event was the 8 to 10 hour surgery for the femur repair. It took all day.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, it was on Tuesday. The femur was broken right down by the kneecap, and it was a very complicated surgery, but they thought it went really well. Then that was followed on Friday with the ankle surgery, and that took about 3 hours, and everything came together very well on that one too. But the unscheduled event was that his heart stopped in recovery, and not only stopped once, but then it stopped again several minutes later. And doctors and nurses called us, and we had a pretty lengthy conversation on that, because at that time they didn't know what caused it. They still really don't know. They've got a couple ideas, but that was a little scary. I know you could tell by the tone of the doctor's voice that they were a little concerned about that whole issue. They were able to revive him with chest compressions, and then they got him. He's back in ICU again. He had left ICU. He was down in guarded care, but that event put him back.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Okay, oh, here he is.
All right, let's get you unmuted, Harborview. I just sent a request if something should pop up on your screen to unmute. I'll try sending again here. There you go. There we go. Hey, hey. Hi, oh, now you're muted. I'm going to try it again. Okay. Okay. Yep. We're good. Hi there.
Okay. Let me find something to prop this up on. Okay. Sorry. Hold on. Chris, what do we think we have? Let's try this.
All right.
Oh, I'll get that cup out of the way.
There he is.
Oh, Chris. Oh, Chris.
Wait for the microphone.
There he is.
Hi, Chris.
Christopher.
Oh, wow.
Hey, kiddo, how are you?
That was hard work. Right there.
How'd you get this, Michael? Did you let your stupid off the leash again? That's backup TV and noise.
You're alive, Chris.
Yeah, barely.
We'd be there if we could.
All right.
You see your mom and dad?
Yeah.
Pam, is this the first time you guys seen him?
No, we had FaceTime with him
Oh, good.
a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And the big thing is the improvement. He's made just very significant improvements in that 7-day period from the first time we saw him till now.
And his speech is so much better too. He's able to say more words than the first time that we had FaceTime. This is actually the second time that we've had FaceTime with him.
Have you been able to smoke a cigarette, Chris?
What's that?
You get to smoke a cigarette?
No.
Chris, they're probably going to cut me off, but we're trying to sneak you a vape, dude. What room is it? They won't tell us what room it is, Chris. Oh, they're cutting me off, Chris.
So I didn't tell Chris that Travis and the group came out here on Sunday and just, wish me a happy Mother's Day. And
Got some really, really nice Mother's Day.
Yes, really
presents.
nice Mother's Day presents. And the t-shirts that we've got on, they gave us.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to tell us, Chris?
Yeah, I don't know. Basically just the same. Said he's making a early recovery.
Yeah. You keep fighting, kiddo.
Yeah.
All right. We're glad you're alive. We're glad you're okay. Hope you keep fighting down there and get out there quick.
All right.
All right. All right, man.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We love you,
We'll let you
Chris.
go.
Love you, Chris.
Yeah.
Love you, Chris.
We'll come see you as soon as we can. We all love you, Chris.
All right.
All right. Look at that hair.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's longer than yours.
I know,
Tom
his arm
Hanks
and
on
hair.
Castaway.
Oh,
That's Kyle.
Where's the?
I don't know what happened.
We lost the picture.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there they are.
There they are. There's Hannah.
Yeah. What you folks can't see that we did was in that 7-day period, the first time we saw him, all he could do was mimic 1 or 2 words. He couldn't.
Oh, he's on.
There he is.
Okay.
Yeah. And now you can see that there, vast improvement in.
I think Art should let his hair grow as long as your hair is right now.
I'm gonna do that in honor of Chris. I'm actually gonna wear the neck thing next week too.
I'll come down there. Yeah. I'll come down there and get my hair cut and paste some on my head.
All right. Oh shit.
He's got that sweet smile.
Yes.
Just gets me every time. Look at that.
All right. Well, let's close up, Ange.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Is there anyone that has a closing question before we go, or anything that they want to mention? Don't leave it to talk about later. We got a couple seconds. We can get one in here. If not, if you don't see anyone with some argumentative. I really, really was in the mood to argue tonight. I'm disappointed in you all. I mean, you guys are just easy. You just roll over. I mean, it's like
maybe that'll come tomorrow during Mom's group.
Yeah, maybe.
And we'll report. We'll report back.
Maybe I'm gonna wear a wig and glasses and sneak on there tomorrow. Yeah. There's somebody's hand up. Is that who is it?
That's Kyle.
Oh, Kyle can't argue.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, I'm not arguing. All I'm saying is the one night I choose to do a joke about politicians, we have a politician watching. The one night.
Yeah.
At first I regretted it, but I don't anymore. But
hey,
she bounced,
politicians at this point in the world deserve what they get. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
That's all I had to say. No argument. I don't want to lose my job.
Yeah. Oh, shut up.
And I want to tell everybody, if something comes up after group, please bring it next week. Please bring it. I know we're going to take a break. I'm not sure which Tuesday in May. I will make that. I will let you guys know, but we'll be taking a break probably for a week here coming up. But bring it back to group, guys. You got stuff.
Hey, Angie and Art, this is Jackie. And
Jackie.
I just wanted to tell Art if he shows up at the coffee tomorrow, he better shave first or it's going to be a giveaway, a dead giveaway.
Listen, I just saw a woman on Facebook the other day, full beard. And she said, I'm a woman with a full beard and I'm proud of it. So I can be a woman with a full beard tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah. You guys won't know. Yeah. Yes. Arthurian. All right. Well, okay. You guys are lame. You didn't argue. Once again, I've conquered. I'm right. Everyone's wrong. So please sleep good tonight and understand that you were all wrong and I was right. And we'll just keep it that way. So anyways, now whatever you're struggling with, I want to make sure that gets addressed too. And it's a tough week. I know Ange is having a tough time. She's back with her mother and she's taking care of that. And her cat is missing today. And I say contractors, I'm sorry if you're a contractor and I offend you, but you guys pull it together. I'm dealing with a lot of contractors. They never show up on time. They never get the job done when they say, and they lose our pets. So really, really, a lot of struggle going on. Angie's missing her cat because the guy came to do the floors and he just left the door open. And plus she's back dealing with her mother with cancer. So we can, and we got Chris and the Stampiellis and they're dealing with what they're dealing with. And Patty was on tonight. She's dealing with what she's dealing with. And, I think that was her name. I hope it was. Yeah. And, anyways, and we got some energy here and it's all energy. And I also went over some things this week and and we were looking at, I read another book, or listened to another book on relationship, and they talked about what it is. They talked about it being this transfer of information and energy. And that's what a relationship is. It's this transfer of information and energy. And I want people to understand that we're doing both, and that we transfer information, but it doesn't deny our energy. And that's the thing, is it doesn't hide our energy. Really what we're transferring is energy, and the information sometimes matches and sometimes doesn't. And if you look at each other and you see, and that's what I'm talking about with this boundaries, you're trying to transfer information, but you're not showing it in your energy. And that might be the case for you. So you have to watch out, and you have to see, what is your energy truthful? Are you being what you say you're being? And that's the relationship. And so this time tonight, we're going to transfer some information and some energy. And that's what happened tonight. We transferred a little information and a little energy, and that's the relationship. And that's what you're doing. And that's what we're doing with each other all the time. And so tonight we share this energy here tonight. We share it and we transfer it between each other. And that's helping people. Helping people is when you're responsible for your energy and you feel it and you transfer good energy to somebody else. I hope to do that more this week. And you know, it's really not into the information is just kind of a sidebar. It's good. It's all right. It's informational, but it's the energy we're transferring. And so again, thank you guys for being here and transferring some energy and information to me and throughout everyone here that's on. And it's an honor to come in your homes. And thank you for withstanding our vulgar music and our video. And, you know, I don't want anyone not to tune in. Please tune in. Please don't be, you know, if you're offended, get on and tell us. It's fine, but keep tuning in and be offended or whatever. But I would really look into this idea that we're not connecting with the youth generation, and we're not transferring information and energy generational, and we're not learning to seek understanding of each other. And so let's do that and keep if you have anything that you want to talk to with Ange and bring up for next week, please do. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Do you have a last comment, Becky?
I did. I want to know, Art, is that a real candy machine next to you, or is that just a picture?
It's a real one. It's a real one.
So freaking cool.
Yeah. We got a real Coke machine, a real candy machine, and we got some video games. So we're a whole thing. Yeah.
When I knew
all right.
Yeah, we just needed to break it up at the end, and that's a real candy machine.
Yes, it is. I haven't eaten one piece of it yet, though, because of this thing I'm on. So
that is so cool. I've always wanted one of those. I think they're so cool.
There's a lady that sells them out in Yelm. A lady in Yelm sells them. It's $100.
That's so cool.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Have a good week. Good night.